keeping in mind there's still room for improvement the rest of the way, how do you feel about your team and the way where things are at going into
I feel good. You know, I don't know if I'd ever say great because
Right.
we didn't play this weekend, and I liked last week as far as getting a little bit of rest and Brent Tate getting healthy and so on. We were able to work on a few detail things, not that we don't anyway. And I thought the last couple of days of preparation have been good. Our guys are ready to play a game, I can tell you that. And, we've got a few more off weekends coming up, which is a little bit concerning for me because these guys are ready to go. I mean, they're hungry, and you get back Carpenter, and I know that's been talked about, but it's an energy. It just is not because of just Ryan. It's everybody kind of gets energized having him back out there. So I've been happy with our preparation. I feel good about where we are right now. Now we're ready to get tested again against a really good team in Lake Superior.
and just like everything so far, another big series.
Huge series, huge series. This has implications for us because of the series in Sault Ste. Marie. We felt there were two hard-fought games, and we found a way to be on the losing side of both, and that's a compliment to Lake Superior wholeheartedly. But these are huge games. We gave up two. They took care of their home ice. We need to take care of our home ice against them. There's lots more implications than that, and standings and so on, but that's where it starts with us. And I'm not talking about revenge. I'm just talking about making amends for a series where we didn't play well enough, and they played better than we did from start to finish. So we're excited. We're excited, and they're playing their butts off to get positioning, and they've had a couple of tough weekends in a row here, and they're going to want to get back on the winning ways. So it's going to be two desperate teams. We're hungry to get playing again, and they're hungry to get on the positive side of things.
What do you think your teams here have generally improved during the second half?
So far?
Yeah, in the
Defensively. I think you're talking about this season, yes?
no the four seasons.
Oh,
I mean, you guys have made some.
yeah. Generally speaking, the second half it's been a more positive environment. You can blame me for that. My first year, the second year for sure. Last year, I didn't think I was as difficult to be around the first half of the year because although I'm not overly smart, I try to learn from my mistakes. And the first 2 years were very frustrating and difficult. And the second half of the year, we didn't take our foot off the gas. We gave ourselves a little bit of a break based on what we walked into and what we were all going through, players, coaches, everything. I think we felt better about our day-to-day the last few years, the second half. Other than that, I don't know if we've done any one thing a whole lot better than the first half. The results have been better. I think our process has been about the same. I know the overall vibe has helped. The first couple of years, it was a difficult place to be. Once we got to that holiday break at Christmas time, coming back for the second half, it was a much better place to be. The results said that, but our overall attitude said that. Our overall feeling about coming to the rink was more positive. This year, it was a frustrating first half, but for different reasons, and we were all frustrated together. This was all of us. This wasn't coaches versus players, players versus coaches. I'm not saying those other years were, but we were trying to fight to not make it that. I think some of the players may have perceived it as that. That's not what we wanted it to be. This year, we were all expecting to have a good first half. We were all expecting to win those games that we had leads in. We've been going through this together. We all dealt with losing some good players to injury. We all dealt with that together. This second half, we feel good about where we are right now. We feel good about where we are in the standings. We feel good about how we're playing today. We feel good about the second half to this point. That's it. I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with tomorrow. Tomorrow is our next opportunity to improve, and that's what we're going to focus on. But I think, generally speaking, it's just been a more positive program, a more positive area to be around the second half of the seasons.
What challenges does Lake Superior present? What do you like about their team?
I like their size, I like their compete level, and they're an opportunistic team. I don't think they rely on one person, although early in the year the stats said it was Alex Golke and the two seniors with Radke and Campbell. They're a better team than that. I compare them to Ferris State in that you just know what you're going to get from Lake Superior every year. They're a hard team to play against. They don't care if it's on the road or at home. You get a really strong effort from Lake Superior. They went into Union after the weekend. We were at Union and got taken to the cleaner a little bit there, and they swept them. Lake Superior just comes up with ways of winning games. I really like that about them. Jim Rock and his staff have done a great job of establishing who they are and not worried about who they're not. And I just think that's a great example and model for the rest of us. This year's team in particular, they're really strong in net and they're deep. They've got two seniors there that they rely on. They're big on the back end. They've got some depth back there, and they've got some experience back there. And then up front, they're getting timely goals. The weekend we were up there, it wasn't just Radke, it wasn't just Globke, it was somebody else, and it was somebody else both nights. So I think when you're getting contributions from everybody, and you can defend, and you can rely on individuals, whether it's Kapalka, Murdoch, Churchman, whomever, from a defenseman standpoint, I think you've got a good team. I don't look at the standings. I don't look at the last 4 games in terms of the results. I know how hard this team plays. They had leads, I believe, both nights at Notre Dame this past weekend. They're a dangerous team. They're a competitive team. We have to be ready for another tough challenge.
Do you feel your team is different in any way compared to the last time you played Lake Superior?
I feel we're a little more rested, mentally and physically. I think we've got everybody. We lost Bergeron in the first shift of the Friday night game. I can't remember if Moeller was playing that weekend or not. I know Karp wasn't. So we've got more of a full lineup. We don't have Mingo, which we miss, but we're more of a full lineup now than we were then. That's not an excuse. It's just a difference. We were coming off that 8-game stretch where it was at Mankato, at Ferris, at Lake, and a home series against Mankato in there. That was very difficult. So I just think the last stretch here has been better than the stretch before that series. So from a mental mindset standpoint, I think we're in a better place. None of that adds up to anything. We have to show up Friday night with a purpose, and that's our intention. That's how we've been preparing. We're excited to hopefully have some students in the building now that they're back from break and get them a taste of hockey. The last taste they had was the home series against Huntsville, which didn't end on a good note for us. We want to get them back excited about hockey, get the building loud again. So there's some real differences as far as we're concerned, but they don't add up to anything when the puck drops Friday.
You mentioned team defense, Coach. I know after the series up at Sioux, you said team defense was not very good at that point. Is that what you think you're going to do most?
Yes, I do. Like I said last Tuesday, I think Alaska Fairbanks is one of the more offensive-minded teams in our league. And they're really good. And for us to hold them to 16 shots Friday and to 1 goal for the weekend, and that included 8 penalty kills or something like that. I know it was 6 on Saturday. I'm really happy the way we defended. We need to make sure we're at that level, start to finish. Where we got exposed at Lake Superior, I don't know if it was from start to finish our defensive effort was poor. There was 6 or 7 plays that we found ourselves on the negative side of from a defensive standpoint. We want to make sure that doesn't happen. It didn't happen this past weekend, and I don't think our offense was great. 3 on Friday, that's good. 1 on Saturday, not good. We need to score more. So obviously we're hoping to put it together, defend at a high level, create offense. But let's start with defending, and we want to be on the positive side of every single play from a defensive standpoint. And right now we're defending hard. We were a tough team to play against last weekend, against a really strong offensive team. We want to be that this weekend again. I think we've improved from the first half of the year. Now, what that means for Friday, nothing.
I know both those games up there, you had a lead 3-2.
Yeah.
There was that stretch where
Yeah.
game instead of mentality?
Absolutely. I don't know, I can't tell you that's changed a whole lot yet, because that's gonna have to be something that I think we have to prove over time. We go into the third period Friday night with a 1-0 lead, we come out with a 3-0 win. We go into the third period Saturday night with a 1-0 lead, we come out with a 1-1 tie. Both games at Lake Superior were frustrating because of that. Friday, I don't think we were great, and they were good early, and we fought back. And we're 3-2 in the third, end up losing 4-3. Saturday, I thought we played better. It just my feeling, get to a 3-2 lead in the third, end up, again, being on the wrong side of things, 4-3. It's as much of a testament to Lake Superior's resiliency as it was ours, basically letting go of a lead. Our focus is to play better with the lead. We obviously want to get the lead so we can play better with it. But we're going to use that series, just like the whole first half, just like last weekend, as learning tools. We're not going to harp on it. We're not going to focus on it. We're not going to dwell on it. We're going to use it as an experience. That's what it was. It was experience. The first half was experience. The more times we have the lead and we have to play under those circumstances, I think the better we'll be at it, regardless of what we've done. That's what I believe. We built up a resiliency over 3 years. We learned how to play from behind, because we were always playing from behind. We were always the underdog. We have to learn how to play as the favorite. We have to learn how to play with the lead, and we're learning. That's the best way I can put it. That's what we believe. The only way for us to get better at those things is to live through it. They're necessary experiences for us to have.
Tommy can be in the net Friday night.
That hasn't been determined yet. I mean, I think there's a pretty strong case for him, and I'll leave it at that.
You alluded to Brent Tate earlier, he's fine.
He's good. Yeah, last week we were cautious with him, but he skated. We were more cautious with contact and anything like that. He's been skating this week. He's got some jump. I think the rest helped.
How do you feel about where the penalty kill is at right now?
Well, the numbers say it's pretty good. I don't, the results are what they are. We want to focus on process. I think it's been okay, Kevin. Where I think we've done a good job is I think we've had some really big kills at big times. I look back at Saturday night against Alaska, and there's a minute and a half to go, or 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the Saturday night game, in a 1-1 game, and we have a huge kill. We seem to all be on the same page, where last year we weren't. We were in between all day long last year. This year we all seem to be on the same page. We all seem to be pushing in the same direction. I really like that about it. And 2 years ago, we seemed to be doing the same thing. Last year we went backwards, don't know why, with the same kind of sort of the same people. This year we seem to be back more on the same page, all going in the same direction. So I like the fact that we don't seem to be in between anymore, which means we all understand where we need to be and when we need to be there.
And then the same question about the power play. How do you feel about where
Power play, I'd like to see the results be better. I think our process has been okay. I think our zone time has been okay. I'd like to see results. I think you get Carpenter back on that unit with Sullivan and Walker on the point, and with his presence in front of the net of tipping pucks and just being a net front guy. And then we all know Freeburg's group, when they're moving the puck around, it's a pretty special group. But we need goals. We need results on the power play. I know it starts with process and it starts with zone time. Well, we have that. Let's make sure our focus is results as well. And we've been stressing it. We've worked on it. Now we got to go execute.
What do you like about Matt Polkamp's game and what he's given you this year?
He's about as consistent of a contributor as, and I'm not just talking about points, obviously. The first thing when I ask Matt how he's doing, he wants to put up more points. That's what he wants to do. But you know what you're going to get out of Matt every day, and I like that. The difference between Matt on his best day and Matt on his worst day is not very big, where that's consistency. Most guys up until their junior year struggle with consistency. It's just real. I don't care what sport it is, a boy, girl, it's hard to be consistent. He's a very consistent guy. He doesn't say a whole lot, and we kind of joke with him about that, but he just comes and does his thing every day, and he works. The effort is consistent. The execution is consistent. His demeanor is consistent. He's just a very consistent guy. And we feel, like he does, that there's more offense there. but it's not based on inconsistency. It's just based on a bounce here, a finish there. I think that's a comfort level. The more comfortable he gets at this level, he's going to continue to get the chances he's getting right now. I think those pucks will start to go in. That's just the way it works. You have to kind of put your time in, so to speak. I think he's going to be a guy that people are fighting to have on their line. You know, we want Polkamp because we know what we're going to get. He goes up and down the wing. He blocks shots. He's going to be a power play guy before it's all said and done. He's not that this year, but he's been a really big part of the penalty kill. You know, he's just a very consistent guy. And that may sound average. That may sound just okay. It's absolutely not that. There's something to be said for a consistent contributor, and that's what he is. And I think that the top end of that can only get better as he contributes more on the score sheet.
Did you expect him to play as well as he has?
You know, it's hard to say. He had a little bit of a difficult year last year, transitioning from high school to the USHL and then getting traded. And the big part of the reason he got traded was because he had an injury right around Christmas time, and the team he was playing on didn't know, you know, they thought they could get more back in a trade, not knowing what was going to happen with his knee and whatever. So I wasn't sure based on last year. Now, he finished in the North American League really strong. They went to nationals. He was a big-time contributor for them. There was articles about him because he was scoring goals, and that was more of the Matt from high school. So he ended great. The middle of the year was hard. The beginning of the year was hard because he was trying to transition to a very difficult junior league. So we weren't sure. We weren't sure. And again, he's such a quiet guy. You hardly even know he's around. I mean, that's why you got to grab him and say, "Is everything okay?" Because he won't say anything, you know. That's just part of who Matt is. He does his thing. He's a very focused student. He's a very hardworking, engaging student in terms of doing homework and what he expects from himself in the classroom. And the same thing on the ice. He's just not one of those real loud vocal guys.
Yeah, because I mean, he's shown that he can play in any situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, he's a guy that he's beat people one-on-one. He's created opportunities like anybody else we've had, and they just haven't gone in. It shows you his mindset that he's got high expectations for himself. When the first thing out of his mouth was, "I want to score more." That's what he said. I'm getting a bunch of chances. I want to score more. And I'm, you know, the fact that you're getting chances, and it's a very consistent thing with you. It's not one day it's here and one day it's here. It's just not that. I said, just, you know, give yourself a little bit of a break, and you just keep being that consistent contributor that you've been, and the goals will go in. The points will happen. I don't think he answered me. I think he just kind of looked at me. That's his way of answering.
Right.
Okay.
Any other?
Some one-on-one time with the guys this week since you had extra time off ice. Feedback from them positive so far this year.
Yeah, the feedback's positive. I mean, what the focus was for us to give them feedback as much as anything. We had a chance right around Christmas time to talk to each one of them and get their feedback on how the year went. And they were all not disappointed. Disappointed is too strong of a word. And they weren't concerned. They just felt like we left some things on the table in the first half, which is a good thing. All of our expectations are the same. We all need to raise our level. And the results will show if we all do the right things more often in terms of details, in terms of purpose, in terms of process, which is what we're about. So it wasn't so much getting their feedback on how things are going, because we just talked to them about that. It was more giving them an update on where their game is. And we're on the same page. You know, we're on the same page. We're in a good spot. We know how we get results around here. It starts with process. And it starts with individual expectations. What do you expect to happen every day? So it was just more of a checking in thing, and I think we're all on the same page. Now we have to go and execute. You know, we have tomorrow's our next focus. We can execute tomorrow at a high level and prepare, and we'll worry about Thursday.
Do a 3-month recap real quick. Coach, WCHA versus CCHA. What do you think of the league? Level of competition, etc.
Level of competition's been great. Level of competition's been great. You know, I think it's shaping up to be a very tight league, which is what all the coaches knew it was going to be. Very, very competitively, a bunch of like teams, like programs. You know, we've traveled more. I did not appreciate how great the travel was at Bowling Green. until this year. And the last 3 years, like when you can do home and homes with basically everybody, if the schedule allowed, with the exception of a couple here or one there, that's pretty good. I mean, you're 2 hours, you're 3 hours, you're 4 an hour, 4 minimum, you know, so that's been way different. Other than that, to us, it's, okay, this is who we're playing tonight, so let's go play. You know, we're proud members of the league. I think the league is turning out better than, not we thought, everyone else thought. You know, we've got teams in the conversation. We've got a team that's been in the top 5 all year long. Mankato's knocking on the door. We feel we want to be in the conversation. We got to prove that. You know, all these other leagues that said, well, we're going to have 10 teams in the tournament. You know, we knew reality was going to say that's just not going to happen. We've got some very competitive teams. Our non-conference looks strong in terms of our opponents, and what we've done in those games is strong. And I like it, you know, but this is what we were handed, and we're going to deal with it the best way we can. And that's where we are.
Anything else?